Hi, I'm Dilda Heringa, and I'll tell you what, when I opened up the packet and read the cover letter that actually said that I was going to be inducted into the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with, gosh, honor, humility, and denial. You know? I mean, honor that anybody would ever think that I was good enough to receive some award like this. Humility, thinking, who would ever think of my flying career as being special enough to be recognized? And denial, you know, there's so many people who have helped me achieve all the dreams that I could ever have had as a child and as an adult. I mean, it's just an incredible thing to be thought of as somebody important enough to receive an honor of this nature. Thank you.
The Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame is pleased this evening to honor Mary Dilda Heringa. Air Race gold medalist Mary Heringa has earned celebrity status as the foremost female air racer in the nation. She is also a prominent air show performer, flying at EAA's Air Venture in Oshkosh and Sun and Fun in Lakeland, among others. That's in addition to a 10-year Air Force career and her full-time job as a pilot for FedEx. When Mary was in the first grade, she knew she wanted a career in aviation. As a child, she flew with her father in his Cessna Cardinal around their ranch in New Mexico. After soloing at age 18, she earned her pilot's license in just 2 months. She enrolled in college at Oklahoma State University, earned her wings, and became a flight instructor and member of the flight team, the OSU Flying Aggies, where she earned an award as top regional pilot. As a participant in the National Intercollegiate Flying Association competition, she won Top Woman Pilot. Following college graduation, Mary joined the U.S. Air Force because she wanted to fly jets. After her initial training in T-37s and supersonic T-38s, at 24 years of age, she became an aircraft commander, flying the C-9 Nightingale, the Air Force medical evacuation aircraft, and later traveled the world, landing on every continent, including Antarctica, piloting the huge C-141 Starlifter. Mary left the Air Force in 1991, but continued as a civilian instructor on the C-141 simulator. She then flew the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 for a scheduled charter company. When FedEx hired her in 1994, Mary began as a DC-10 simulator instructor. 3 years later, she became a FedEx line pilot in 1997. She has flown the Boeing 727, the Douglas DC-10, the MD-11, and is scheduled to upgrade to captain on the Boeing 757. She also served in the Tennessee Air National Guard. Mary bought her first North American T-6 Texan renamed Two of Hearts in 1996. She ended up air racing at the world-famous Reno Air Races, where her record includes 3 Reno Gold Championships, 2 T-6 Gold wins, and the Jet Classic Championship, flying an L-39 Albatross named Heartless. For her extraordinary and enduring accomplishments as a woman in aviation, her contributions to aviation for Tennessee, our nation, and the world, and for her service to our country, Mary Heringa is honored by and inducted into the Tennessee Aviation Hall of Fame this 12th day of November 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Heringa.
All right, let's move right out here now. Present you a good flag. Congratulations. Now you may speak.
Wow. I'm so excited to be here. This is such an honor. Bob Mentor, Bob Wilson, the selection committee, I can't believe you guys thought of me to induct me into the Hall of Fame. I think my mother brought it into perspective. She said, you know, Mary, this is the ultimate recognition of the hard work that you put in to live your childhood dreams. And that's exactly what I've done, you know. To be recognized to live my childhood dream is something really huge. I've never really thought of it as that important because all I've ever done is have a good time. What I have to admit, though, is there's a lot of people sitting at this table and at the FedEx table who have put in an incredible amount of work to make my life as easy as it seems. You know, when I was a kid, I had my father, who always was a private pilot, but he was the best seat of the pants pilot that I ever knew. And you know, he took me and showed me various things about flying an airplane. You know, he said, it's easy. I know you can't see out over the cockpit, he said, but just keep the wings level. If you keep the wings level, then you're not going to gain altitude, nor are you going to change heading. You know, and I've kept that thought all through my life, and it's helped through every airplane that I've ever flown. Especially air racing, you know, because if you kept the wings level, then you wouldn't gain altitude. Of course, you had to turn quite a bit. Left, go really fast. The prop turned really, really, really fast. You know, the RPMs on a 1340 red line is, what, 2250? When we come down the start for the air races, we're running about 2600 to 2700 RPM on those things. By the time we finish a 10-minute race, everything's in the red line. But that's okay. I guess that's why I blew a lot of cylinders. That's why I had Chip Woods. He's sitting here with us tonight, and Kimberly Walsh. You know, without those two changing props, how many props did we change? I don't know. We change at least 4 or 5 a day. We changed 2 or 3 engines a day. I ran 2 engines. I ran a race engine and an air show engine. And the air show engine was kind of the experiment for the race engine. They didn't like it very much when I blew a cylinder at the air shows. I don't know why. I was at Oshkosh one time when I met Kimberly. It was my first performance at Oshkosh. I was so proud to be there. I was taxiing in, and just as I spun the airplane in front of the crowd, I reached up and I got about this far to the mixture, and the prop went, and I went, oops. I didn't tell anybody, though. I didn't even tell the airshow boss or anybody. And my ex-husband and I were pulling the engine the next day, and I see this little blonde, and she was working on a B-17, and she goes over and fixes a P-51, and she comes trotting by, and she says, hey, y'all need any help? I got a couple of hours before I'm supposed to get on my airplane. I said, yeah, pull the fuel pump. Well, within about 2 hours, she helped us pull the entire engine off the airplane. It was incredible. So we said, hey, you want to join us at Reno? And she said, oh my gosh, I've been watching you guys forever. I'd love to. So we called Chip. I didn't know how Chip was going to react with a female mechanic. But he did okay with her, you know? It was amazing. He was like, yeah, bring her on. Those two people have helped me throughout my career. My mother. She's an incredible woman. She gave me the confidence to do everything that I have been able to do. There's a few other people. Bob Chisholm's sitting at the table. He spent more of my money than anybody. When I got hired at FedEx as an instructor pilot, it was an amazing accomplishment to be able to get to the company that I really wanted to fly for, because I didn't really want to fly passengers, but the passengers that we do fly are an incredible cargo, because I never complain. So it's really an enjoyable job, you know? Anyway, when we got there, we had a mall. I don't know, most of y'all probably know what a mall is. It's a little half fabric, half metal airplane. And I needed someplace to put it. It just so happened that Bob Chisholm had some space in his hangar. So we put it in the hangar, and there happened to be an incredible big blue T6. And that was in 1995. 3 weeks later, he took me to Sun and Fun on his wing in his T6, and I was on his wing. We stopped by and met a gentleman. I don't know if any of you have heard of Gene McNeely. He is the #4 position of the aeroshell show team. And anyway, he said, well, hell, Mary, you bought a racer, you might as well go race it. So 6 months after we bought the airplane, we were out at Reno, taxiing up to Stead. And, you know, it's an amazing thing when you actually taxi up to an airport and you see these guys sitting there at the back of a pickup, and they look at you like, oh, here's the girl. She's supposed to air race. And that's exactly what they looked like. You know, they were hardened air racers, they were spray pilots, and I didn't quite fit in that gang. But I've had a great time out there. And you know what? The first time that I was air racing, I spent, most of my time in the silver races, which meant I finished 9th out of 18 airplanes. The guys didn't like it too much, but we had a great time. The next year, I raced Mystical Power, and I ended up winning that year. And when I got back, Chip looked at me, and he said, so, darling, where do you want to go? And I said, I want to win. And those 4 words brought forth a lot of blood, sweat, tears, adrenaline rushes, prop changes, fans, sponsors, everything else. And ladies and gentlemen, without those words, I don't think I would have done the things that I've done in the rest of my career of aviation. You know, when he was talking about the very beginning of my aviation career, you know, growing up on a ranch, flying there, going to the military and flying there, that was a lot of fun. But I'll tell you what, the air races and the air shows, that was incredible. We accomplished so many things. We went so many places. We got to talk to so many kids. And I think that's the most important thing in the world, you know, when you're able to actually spread a little bit of cheer and a little bit of information about aviation, and you can actually instill a little bit of confidence in people and their kids. I remember one time I'd been signing autographs, and there was a little boy as the Thunderbirds were flying over, and he was bawling. Oh, he was covering his ears and just bawling. And I was walking across back to the airplane, and I stopped and I knelt down beside him, and I said, you know what, it's okay. And he looked at me, and I'm in this flight suit, you know, I got FedEx all over it, and I've got, you know, all the sponsors on it. And I said, it's okay. I don't like that noise either. And he looked up and he smiled. And then all of a sudden he started laughing, and he started pointing at the airplanes. And you know what? That brought something to my heart that was bigger than anything that I could have possibly done in the air. Just making somebody smile. And I think that's the biggest part of aviation. If we can all make somebody smile, if we can all do one thing for some person, build their confidence, take them from an individual who has nothing to an individual who has a lot of abilities, then we've actually accomplished something in our life. So ladies and gentlemen, what you've done for me tonight by honoring me at this incredible gala, you've made me a very happy person, and you've done something for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.